Welcome to Her Confident Life, a podcast about breaking down walls and living your most confident life every single day. I'm your host, Robin Brown, writer, boutique owner, brand creator, entrepreneur, and mindset junkie. And I want to help you live confident too. Hey you guys, and welcome back for episode number 4. Okay, so just a quick question for you before I get started. Did you happen to listen to episode number 3 about comparison? And I gave a little challenge at the end, the gratitude challenge. If you didn't catch that episode, I'm inviting you to go back and listen to that one first because this one will sort of connect to it. So here's a truth bomb for you. I am a certified mindset junkie. That's right. I've probably read The Secret at least 5 times, and I keep it right next to my bed in a mini trunk that holds all my important books. Books that I like to just pick up whenever, usually right before bed, open randomly, and read a few pages. They're books that are uplifting and inspiring and empowering, and the type of books that remind me that I really am a badass and how important it is to stay on my path and stay true to myself. And yep, Jen Sincero's book, You Are a Badass, is one of them. If you haven't read that book, I can't recommend it enough. You need to go out and get it right now. Well, maybe not right now, after you finish this podcast. So while we're talking favorites, let me tell you that probably my most favorite book of all time is The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. And you're probably wondering what The Secret has to do with this episode. Well, it's been super important to me in the whole journey of learning who I am and what makes me tick and how I want to live my life now that I actually have a choice on how I want to live my life. Let me tell you, it was kind of confusing and not to mention seriously overwhelming to try and figure out what was real and what wasn't about me, about my life, about every single thing. I mean, I was weeding through 40 years of stuff, over 40 years. And I'm not sure if it was just who I ended up being because of everything that I had been through, or if maybe that whole you learn what you're surrounded by was a big part of it. Either way, I ended up to be the biggest pessimist ever. I'm not even kidding. If it was a glass half full or glass half empty sort of thing, I'd be the one thinking, what the hell does it even matter if there is a glass? So being a pessimist isn't something that I like to admit to, but it's the truth. I mean, I was bad. I was why bother doing that because it won't work? Why bother trying this because I won't be able to do it? Or why bother going there because you get the picture, right? And that brings us to the whole mindset junkie thing. I can remember as a little girl, my dad would always tell me, what you think about, you bring about. And I heard that so much growing up, but I never really truly gave it much thought. Like, I never really gave the meaning behind it. What was my dad trying to tell me? I never really gave that much thought. But trust me when I tell you he was onto something. I didn't become the self-proclaimed mindset junkie that I am overnight. And it didn't even start to happen until maybe 4 or 5 years ago, but I think it really became something I consciously thought about and believed in, and most importantly, trusted about 2.5 years ago. You know, after that day in my truck, my brick wall day. I'm also a huge believer in everything happens for a reason. And sometimes that can be super hard to accept when maybe you want a certain something to happen really bad and it's just not. But I can honestly tell you that although life was a struggle, every single thing that happened in my life led me straight to now. And I love where I'm at now. And the truth is, if all this mindset stuff would have fallen into my path years ago, I don't really think I would have really paid it much attention. Truth is, I didn't pay it much attention because I never really heard what my dad always said to me, what you think about, you bring about. It was about the time I had heard about all I could hear concerning my life and all the stories that my brother and certain family members and family friends were telling me to help me start making sense of what really went on. And when I decided that I had to work to turn things around for myself, that The Secret was placed in my path. And like I said, I'm a big believer that everything happens for a reason. And if my life hadn't been what it was, if everything didn't unfold in the timing that it did, I probably wouldn't be here today recording this episode. I probably wouldn't even be here right now doing any of this. I'm not going to lie and tell you that I made a magical turnaround from being the world's biggest pessimist to some wide-eyed, full of happy, always optimistic girl. Nope. Because I still really do have moments of that'll never work, or whatever negative thoughts might pop into my head. I still struggle. And listen, I am a researcher and I have trust issues. So I don't automatically buy into or believe in everything that's put in front of me. My dad has been gone 21 years. And until a few years ago, that whole what you think about, you bring about, well, I hadn't heard it or even thought about it in a really long time. But after reading The Secret, that first time, that sentence has been loud and clear in my mind ever since. And there's a reason for it, because it's true. What you think about, you bring about. So there's another book that I really like that I'm going to touch on in another episode, but it's called The Four Agreements. And it reads, there's a passage in it that reads, "The dream you are living is your creation. It is your perception of reality that you can change at any time. You have the power to create hell and you have the power to create heaven. Why not dream a different dream?" Here's the deal. What you think about, you bring about. It isn't easy to do, especially for somebody like me who tends to lean towards the pessimistic side. Like, you wake up in the morning and your first thought is, today is going to be a great day. That's a really good place to begin, but you can't stop there. I have no idea how many thoughts we have on a typical day. I don't even know if anyone has researched such a thing. I mean, can you even research such a thing? But it's those thoughts that get us in trouble. And by trouble, I mean it's those thoughts, those quick and passing ones, or the thoughts that we might dwell on for a few minutes that determines what's going to happen next, or somewhere down the road, especially if it's a thought you have over and over. For instance, I'll never be good enough for, or I keep trying, but I'm never going to. Believe me when I tell you that how you think is just as important as what you think. So all this stuff is basically the law of attraction stuff. And don't go thinking that it's all hokey voodoo stuff, because it's not. It's real. Okay, so let me back up for a minute and get a little technical here and explain. Every single thing in the universe is made up from the very same thing, energy. A little example is someone having an optimistic attitude and focusing on successes will attract more of this. And just the opposite is true too. If you focus on the fact that you don't have enough money, your health isn't the greatest, or all the other negatives, the universe will respond by giving you more. It's all about what you focus on. And maybe right now you're saying, "Oh, Robin, that's crap. This part of my life is all struggles, and I definitely don't want more struggles." And I'm sure you don't. But since those are the things that you're focusing on and giving energy to, the more it happens. Truth bomb. Every single thing you see, every single thing that is around you, every single thing going on in your life is because of your conscious mind telling your subconscious mind, and then your subconscious bringing it to life. See, you can be totally positive on the outside, but if you don't learn how to get rid of all the junk on the inside, all those limiting beliefs and subconscious negative bullshit, you are 100% holding yourself back. And believe me, I know how hard it is to stop the subconscious, or even the conscious negative bullshit. But the things you focus on, consciously or subconsciously, are the things that you're going to receive. Do you have any idea how hard that was for a person like me? Oh my gosh. So here I am, coming out of a ginormous life cloud of so many negatives that happened to me and tons of ugly stuff that I learned to believe about myself. I was in such a deep depression and overwhelmed with anxiety and full-blown panic attacks, and every single thought I had, whether consciously or subconsciously, was negative. I was literally a 5'5", 120-pound, living, breathing, walking negative. But you know what? That's all I focused on. You know, like, how do I know this weird jittery feeling I'm having is really just anxiety and I'm not about to stroke out? Or how do I know that I'm not gonna die if another panic attack happens? And I know another panic attack will happen. I just don't know when. And what if we get to that gathering and I'm not dressed right? What if I'm seated next to somebody that doesn't like me? What if I say I want to be involved in something and nobody wants to help me? What if? What if? What if? Oh my gosh. Want me to keep going? Seriously, my negative list could go on forever. But here's the thing. I finally realized that all this law of attraction stuff, what you put out into the universe is exactly what you're going to get back. I was totally not letting anything good come my way. The law of attraction, simply put, is just giving back to you whatever you are focused on in your thoughts. So knowing this, you can turn your life around simply by changing the way you think. And that brings me to all the crap we tell ourselves every single day. All the negative self-talk and all the ugly beliefs we have about ourselves and all the comparing that we do. And remember, comparing comes from insecurity and the feeling or the belief that we just aren't enough. It definitely doesn't come from being grateful for who we are or what we do have, and the blessings that surround us every single day. It doesn't come from that place. So let's say you feel bad about where you are financially. Maybe you feel bad about the house you're living in and the furniture that you have, and maybe you compare it constantly with what somebody else has. You wish, and remember, I wish implies I don't, I can't, or I won't. So you wish you had a different house. You wish you had different furniture. You wish you could afford to make some changes. Those are all super powerful thoughts and feelings. And maybe you're having them about something else, not your house or your furniture. But if you continue to feel negative towards your financial situation or what your finances are not allowing you to accomplish, you're never going to change it, because what you're focusing on is exactly what the universe thinks you want. So it gives you more. It's confusing, I know. But it's the same way with every single thing. In essence, stop focusing on why you feel bad about something and instead find the blessings in it and focus on those. Think about all the good things about that something. And as you learn to think about good thoughts, you start to feel better about that thing and your energy frequency changes. And what that means is that you will start attracting good because you're thinking good. If you focus on your life being a struggle, it will be a struggle. If you focus on your weight being a struggle, it will be a struggle. Whatever you focus on that you view as a struggle, it will be a struggle. So I want you to do something right now. I want you to close your eyes and think about your life and all the things that you dream about. Go on now, close your eyes, think, and listen to me. So maybe it's weight you want to lose. I want you to picture in your mind what you will look like after you lose the weight. Do you see yourself healthier, stronger? Do your clothes fit better? Or maybe you're thinking about a new job. Maybe even doing something totally different than what you're doing right now, but you haven't gone after it because you believe it's out of your reach. Picture yourself at that new job. Picture yourself doing what you love to do. Does it feel rewarding? Does it make you happy? You absolutely have to learn to control your thoughts, conscious and subconscious. And like I said earlier, this can be tough, especially if you are like me at all and have spent most of your life as a pessimist. And gratitude, what we covered in the last episode, gratitude helps us shift super quick from the ugly negative self-talk to positive. The moment we start recognizing that we're doing it and we stop, not gonna lie, recognizing it is part of the battle, especially the subconscious thoughts. So here's an example. We had an event last Sunday. It was the first event of the year, and although Miranda, and if you don't know who Miranda is, that's the name of the mobile boutique. Although she was home from her recent makeover, I signed up kind of late to do this event, and there wasn't enough space for her. The event was pretty much full, and the only way that I could do it was take a 10 by 10 spot and build a display. I signed on, But the anxiety that I felt at the thought of not having my mobile boutique, my display racks, my fitting room, my chandelier, all the things that Miranda is, how on earth was I going to do this? It gave me anxiety. As I loaded up the trailer with everything we need to like build a display, I had constant thoughts of this is never going to work and it's going to look so bad. I'm not even kidding. I stewed about it. Every negative thought I could possibly have. Trust me, I had it. It wasn't until I actually got to my spot and began setting up that it hit me like a ton of damn bricks. What are you thinking? Stop it. Okay, Robin, just stop. I became super aware of my subconscious thoughts and that I'd been having them for 2 days and stopped them in their tracks. If I kept thinking like that, Sunday was gonna be a disaster. So instead, I focused on how blessed I was to actually be able to do the event since it was pretty much full, and how it would be fun creating a display and seeing what we could come up with to make it look inviting, and that I was going to finally see all my vendor friends that I hadn't seen since the last event in December, and it was all going to be so much fun. I changed my thoughts. And you know what? It was. Ask, believe, and receive. It's as simple as that. Okay, if I forgot to tell you to open your eyes, you can do that now. So ask, believe, receive. Say a prayer. Talk to God. Ask. Put it out there what you do want. But you have to be clear. Don't say things like, I don't want this anxiety anymore, because your focus is on the anxiety, and that's exactly what will be heard and exactly what will be tossed back at you. Instead, tell God that you want to feel good. What you think about, you bring about. Next, believe. Believe that you've already received it. Believe that God heard you, and when it's time, it will be. Be grateful for what you have now, because the universe loves gratitude. And keep your commitment from the last episode to continue showing gratitude every single day, because that's helping you to live in a positive rather than negative place. And the universe hears that, and your life will begin to change. It's like you flipped a switch to all that's good. And I can't say it enough. What you think about, you bring about. And thirdly, receive. Are you really ready for it? You have to believe that it's coming and be open to receiving it, and expect that you will receive it. Expect that those changes will happen. Start living as if they already have. Get rid of any doubt, hesitation, or questions in your mind, because those are the things that will block you. Okay, so I have a little story for you. It's about Miranda and her makeover and all the changes my business has gone through over the last few months. So if you've been following Cowgirl Dreams for any length of time, you've probably heard me talk about my why, and that I never wanted to lose sight of my why, or how I jumped ship from a super successful dog training career to this whole boutique journey, and the little changes that have happened over the last few years. If you don't know all about that, I invite you to go back and listen to the very first episode, and that will tell you what you need to know so all of this makes sense. I think I mentioned in that first episode that I started to feel like I was losing sight of my why. I felt like I was getting lost in all the changes that were happening to the Cowgirl Dreams company, and it was really bothering me. I was feeling like every single change that I made, although I was doing it because of my why, it was actually taking me further away from my why. Like I was somehow working towards it, but disconnecting. Even though in my heart and mind I knew what I was trying to accomplish. I just didn't know how to arrive at where I wanted to be. So during our last season, we noticed a sort of trend starting. It was weird. Ever since the mobile boutique started going to events, it's always been me, my husband, and Nancy. Same people working, same name, same mobile boutique, same logo and look on the trailer. Everything was the same style of fashion inside. But something was happening last year. Didn't happen before, just last year. And we'd all hear so many people walk by and say, well, we don't need to go inside because I don't do cowgirl stuff. Wait, what? So if I could have grabbed them by the arm and drugged them in to see what was inside of the mobile boutique without the fear of getting arrested, or at least getting my ass beat for grabbing somebody and dragging them in. So obviously that wasn't an option. But it did set my mind into overdrive. Like, I heard what people were saying. And it was so weird that last year was the first year that we experienced this. It wasn't an issue before. And now that I think about it, last year was the first year that we experienced this, but it was also during last year that I started feeling like I was, even though I was working towards it, I was getting further away from my why. So it was all a snowball connecting. It set my mind into overdrive. It was like the universe was screaming at me and telling me what I needed to do. I needed to change the name. So I talked about it with my husband, and I talked about it with Nancy, and we all agreed that changing the name of the boutique, but keeping the style and everything else the same, and then separating it from Cowgirl Dreams Company would allow me to continue the fashion boutique and build the Cowgirl Dreams brand as I originally intended. Here's the thing. I had no damn idea how I was going to make this happen. Changing the name of the boutique would mean rewrapping the trailer at a cost of at least $3,500. And not to mention changing all of my business cards, the clothing tags, my bags. Oh my gosh. Like, seriously, where on earth was that money going to come from? Not only that, but where was that money going to come from in time to accomplish all this expensive stuff over the winter when we didn't have any events planned? And I only had 2 shows left. One that was supposed to be a super big 3-day event at the end of November, and my last vintage market mid-December. Those 2 shows not only had to cover my normal expenses, but also had to generate enough to accomplish what I wanted. 2 shows. That's it. I prayed about it. I prayed hard. I told God that this was what I wanted, what I thought I needed, and to please help me make this happen, because once this happened, I could better connect all the things, get back to my why, and hopefully do what I originally set out to do. And that's to help other women get past all the bullshit, just like I did. It was a pretty tall order, seriously. But I set my intentions and I handed it over to God. Put it all out in the universe. I asked and started going through every single day like it was a done deal. I decided on a new name. I started designing the logo, picking my font, deciding on design and colors, and mostly your typical glass half empty girl. I believed with all of my heart that this was going to happen. And not only did I believe it was going to happen, I believed it was going to happen exactly when I wanted it and needed it to happen. Oh gosh, so let me tell you what happened. That show, the 3-day event that was supposed to be ginormous, well, it wasn't at all. I had vendor friends there that I do shows with all season long, and none of us could believe how badly the show was advertised and the super low turnout. I mean, there was vendors leaving in the middle of the event. It was so bad. It was so disappointing for all of us, but you want to know something? I made about $100 more than the exact amount of money I needed to change the boutique name and rewrap Miranda. I asked, I believed, and then I received. So here's the deal. Learning to love yourself, learning to focus on the positive, learning to stop the negative self-talk and all the I can't, I'm not, I don't. Learning to live in gratitude and really knowing and believing that like attracts like. Those things are life-changing. Slow down. Don't expect the negative. Expect the positive. And that's what's going to show up. And in the words of my dad, what you think about, you bring about. Until next time.